Hey, it's Enigma Hood. I just wanted to talk about the recent incident that involved a YouTube user named Tony48219 who murdered another YouTube user whose name was Asia, and then he committed suicide. I sort of knew Tony. At least I knew of him. I was going to contact him, but he was banned so many times that I didn't know what YouTube username he was anymore. He was banned because of hate speech, and I think, yeah, mostly just hate speech against Islam, I think. At least at one point he was banned for that. I don't think it's fair that people are trying to blame religion. Oddly enough, I don't blame religion in this case. It had nothing to do with why he did what he did. This is a case of lonely guy syndrome. A lonely person, lonely guy, just loses it and kills everything that he perceives to be the cause of his pain, and then ends his own pain. It's the same thing that happened with Sung-Wee Cho, the spree shooter who committed mass killing at Virginia Tech. The only difference, as far as I can tell, between those two individuals is that Sung-Wee Cho killed more people. That's it. But the motive is essentially exactly the same. There's a condition called involuntary celibacy. It's a state where a person who has not established an intimate relationship or sexual intercourse for reasons other than celibacy or sexual abstinence. And it's a case that does not reach mainstream research as much as it should. This is actually a very strong motivating factor. Why Cho Sung-Wee or why Tony48219 decided to go on murder-suicide sprees. Okay, contributing factors, just mostly shyness in the case of Tony48219. He, in real life, he was very shy. And, you know, he was obese, but I know lots of obese people who get girls because of just how charismatic they are and how good they are with people's skills. We as human beings need human comfort. It's essential towards establishing meaningful interpersonal relationships. We become really, really depressed, and we fall into a brooding depression. So lack of sex appeal definitely contributes it, but social skills, in the case of Tony48219, he was very demonstrative and vocal, and definitely not shy at all online. But he lived a dual life, as I'm sure a lot of us do. We have our own online persona, and then we have our real life persona. We have a persona that we keep behind closed doors, and then we have a persona that we reveal to the world, and that's how we demonstrate ourselves. That's how we portray ourselves. We are two different people. Everyone carries this trait. When we are alone, we act a certain way, and that's acceptable. We have to do things like that. But the problem is, some of us are way, way too shy in the real world, and that's what will lead to this thing. Like I said before, I don't blame religion, even though he was a religious fanatic and a creationist. I don't blame religion for this at all. If anything else, it just has to do with psychological problems. Human beings are social animals, so we have to have human comfort. And, of course, humans also want to have sex. That's the unfortunate reality of the situation. And when they are denied these things, they fall into a brooding depression. It's part of instinct. It's a part of evolution. Human beings were evolved to be social. And so when we have psychological barriers which are preventing us from being social or from establishing meaningful relationships, then all kinds of horrible things happen after that. In this case, it leads to violence. You are in a state of pain all the time. You don't want to be in that pain anymore. So you lash out to get revenge on everything you perceive as the cause of your pain, and then to end your own pain. That's basically what it comes down to. Now, as for people who are blaming Venom Fang X, he actually did a video on this, and I was surprised that he said that he didn't even know about this guy until a day before he made the video, which is strange because Thunderfoot made a video with both of them on it. at the same time. So to me, it seems like this moron, Venom Fang X, is completely oblivious to the criticism of him, even though he is very familiar with Thunderfoot. I guess he just didn't bother to watch that particular video and just made all of his rebuttal videos based on nothing. Based on what he thought Thunderfoot said, I guess. I don't know. What Venom Fang X said was kind of... like, he was telling people not to blame him and not to blame Christianity for what he did. In that case, I do agree with him. The other thing I want to kind of raise is the fact that, is he going to heaven or is he going to hell? You know, when he Tony, like, the thing I'm curious about is, what was he thinking at the last minute? I mean, did he really believe in all this heaven and hell nonsense, or did he realize to himself, you know what, none of this shit exists, and so whatever I do right now, killing and murdering, it really doesn't make a difference? Because if you know that, then you really have nothing to lose, do you? I mean, if he really did believe in heaven or hell, I actually don't think that he would have gone through with this unless he thought he was forgiven. You know, there's always some kind of loophole, so I really don't know. It's just an interesting question. It's just a question that can never be answered because he's dead. I wish he wasn't dead. I actually wish that he was still alive, because even though he was a creationist nutcase, he was actually pretty funny. And he went on these rants, and people call them rants, but yeah, I mean, I thought they were hilarious, and I never perceived them as a huge threat to evolution or atheism or anything like that. That's silly. He was just a funny guy, in my opinion, and I would always laugh at him. He was a guy that you could laugh at, and so that's it. I never disliked the guy. I actually kind of liked him, and I wish he was still around.